All right, I'm gonna end today's flow because it clearly seems like the past couple of days have been me like constantly considering society. So today, the last video, this video right now. By the way, I've done 4 videos in one setup. Remember, always look at the shirt or whatever I'm wearing because if it's the same thing, then there's a high chance the videos that look the same behind each other were shot behind each other. So that'll be a good source of entertainment. 5 videos are approximately an hour. Why the fuck not, man? We watch Netflix like dead, and most of the time we don't really like care what we're watching. We're on our phone and doing different things. So this is entertainment. Who wouldn't want like a bearded guy? By the way, this beard is only until I finish like whatever it is I'm working on, the platform, coding the platform, and taking my website to the world. I can't wait to show it to you guys. And it's really that simple. But like really, it's just like to be able to build from that website the concept that I want, I had to give it a lot of thought. But anyways, today's last video is the games of society. The previous videos have been about society, and I promised you guys I would go backwards from what happened today, tonight, and basically go backwards to the morning. But then I figured I'd just do one more video and I'd see what the last video was, and it was the games of society. Amazing. I was having this conversation with a startup founder that was working on a blockchain project, and he's small. Last year, he did a wallet, man, super generic. They wanted to sell it differently, but it was a generic wallet. Uh, it was very impressive to see people actually like go and start doing what they want to do, right? I really see that there are 2 ways to approach a startup. There's build something and build on top of it, or and see where it goes. Or I really think the only startups that work end up going somewhere when they're intentionally moving, when you're intentionally kind of like sitting and looking at like, go like, I'm going to plan this startup's success. And so the best we could do is pick the concept we're trying to reach and go backwards all the way to the present moment where we can, on the simplest way, start onboarding people in order for us to start testing. And so instead of going to the client and giving him a whole lot of like series of explanations of how this could benefit them, I literally would just go and kind of like give them the service they need. And from there, I kind of start adding and tweaking, which is exactly what happened with all successful startups like Facebook, LinkedIn, Discord. All of them started doing something completely different, but then basically realized more people are using the technology that they have for different things. They piggybacked on that and they moved and they built communities around it. See, their concept was communities, but what they started with like unique communities. Their Facebook's concept was connecting people, but they didn't like they started with unique people and then they realized that other people are joining in and then basically they expanded. But when you're trying to digitize society, to gamify society, because that's the conversation I was having with the guy yesterday. Because after 1 year, I asked him what's going on, and so I said it. I actually fucking said it. Like I said it. Wow. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna take this second to kind of like The only way you can actually play a game is if there are rules, right? But the only games that are fun are the games that don't really have rules but have guidelines. And it's not like, oh, okay, the only reason chess is interesting is because the movements are restricted, but you can take them anywhere you fucking want. The only reason, and again, that's a beautiful video that was like a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, I watched about like fun and the concept of fun from a game designer. And it's the difference between like automatic driving a car that's automatic, and driving a car that's stick. Stick is more fun because you get to kind of like engage with the car and make decisions. And I see society as that. I see society as a sandbox created by people just because they had concepts and ideas in their minds, and they want to see them come back to life. So naturally, I saw him and I was like, "What's up, man? How's it going? What have you been doing?" And I looked at him and I was like, "What are you up to these days?" And he told me that he stopped. The startup is still there. The app is still there. They're figuring out new ways to promote it and all that good shit. But effectively, on the other side, they have Shusmo. They started that people saw them build the app, and banks started wanting to work with them and wanting to engage with them, and kind of like they have legitimate jobs where they get paid money and they're getting creative and they're strengthening their technical skills and all the good stuff, all the good stuff. And it was like amazing because ultimately he opened up to something. Now he's getting something in return. And with that, he gets to meet the investors, he gets to meet different people, and he gets to build his skills on somebody else's dollar. And then eventually he either decides to build a new app, he sells the app, he promotes the app, he gets investment for it, whatever it is. Like these are literally legitimate steps to take forward and to actually be going towards. And as I was talking to him, he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "No, I mean, like, I really just want to create a game out of this life that we have, gamifying society." And if you follow the patterns of my like videos, it's just like, my thought is basically good karma is paid in luck points. And then instead of allowing them to kind of like overflow, you cash them whenever you want. And anytime somebody's working hard, he's increasing his value and his contributions to society are different. Like, what's the difference between a chef that's been working for a year and a chef that's been working for 5 years? Well, clearly the one working for 5 years has had more experience, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean it's better because the one working for 1 year could have a lot more intentional experience or like different values, and we all contribute in our own unique ways. And so the thought came to me, it's just like, if we actually truly look at it, what is finance if not people that enjoy numbers that chose to play that kind of game? And if you see them negotiate and if you see how they go to work and if they see how they target the stock market and the difference between like a mutual fund finance guy that's playing that kind of finance game and the people that are like more into like the banking sector that actually in banks, and then you have investment finance and venture capitalist finance. It's just like everyone's picking a fucking game. And then you have like entrepreneurs. You also have doctors. Like they pick the harder game, maybe. But as long as you pass your tests and you kill one out and you don't kill more than X percentage of people, then you're okay. You're in society. You're surviving. You're within the regulations of your own field. Architecture as well. Accounting is the same game as finance, but like different forms of numbers and how they're being played, right? Like one is like, what are we going to do with this money and how are we going to spend it? Another one is like, we're going to calculate how we're spending the money and make sure we don't actually like end up everything. Everything is a game. Everything around us is a concept that people build on top of, is an idea that somebody at one point built. And I've had this conversation with you guys many times before. Tables are a concept, chairs are a concept, fucking floors, cements, pavements, roads, design, architecture, all of them are concepts. Men and women throughout the ages just thought of things, gave birth to them through creation and expression, and basically just people that got interested wanted to join in and eventually created competition. And what is competition but not a big fucking game? If we're competing for jobs, if we're competing for space, if we're competing for voice, every single one of them is a game. And I was explaining it to him and I was telling him, like, if we were to kind of like play life through society, because society as a construct is an organism for me. I think society is an organism. It's like the world lives on, there's management, which is government, and then there's society, which is basically culture, and then there's the economy, which is the businesses. And so If we were to kind of like find a way to play within these three realms that manage society, how would it look like? And that's what I'm working on. I know how it would look like. I just need to build something where people start working with me in order for me to engage with them and start kind of like building the guidelines with them. Because if not, I'm going to be as opinionated as every other government official or every other person that started a country or started a cult or a company or whatever. Effectively, the only successful cultures were the community run cultures and were the cultures where people were able to trust that they could rely on certain things from their surroundings. Again, like I literally am very much influenced by how anime worlds are created. And why the fuck wouldn't I want to kind of like create a reality for myself and for the people who are interested where we could actually play the game of life? Bye.